Time, weather, and...
You're listening to the Radio is Dead podcast.
Welcome back to Radio is Dead. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nutter. We're two ex-radio guys who couldn't shut up, so we started this instead.
And you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. But if you're using us to replace the radio, think of us as the morning or afternoon drive show that you've been missing for the past 10 years.
Every week we bring you real life, weird news, unhinged takes, the occasional conundrum, and special guests who don't quite know what they're really getting themselves into.
And follow us on social, hit subscribe wherever you listen, check out our YouTube to see us in the flesh, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform so that the algorithm thinks that we matter.
Want to be on the show or have something for us to talk about? Drop us a line at radioisdead.com.
And that brings us to today's episode, and just as Nutter mentioned, occasionally we are going to have guests that don't quite know what they're getting themselves into. And today we have our very first guest, Spanish.
Hello, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
I didn't see any of those people when I walked in.
They're very good at hiding.
Wow.
But yeah, so we met back in the day at 93.5 The Bar. Now, you've got an interesting background in radio. You started off in Gainesville.
Yeah, I started out as an intern in Gainesville back in 2005.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then worked my way. Kind of had to go backwards to go forwards after I left there. I worked with 103.1 The Buzz for a while in West Palm Beach.
R.I.P.
Yep, and then new management and ownership came in. Wasn't too happy, left. Took a break from radio for a while. Got back into it where you and I met at 93.5 The Bar.
Yep. Stayed
there for a while, and then, as every other job you may have, when it's time to leave, and you leave. And that's what I did. I left and went down to 104.3 The Shark, and I was there from 2016 until COVID in the beginning of 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then they kind of went through a little bit of like a format change at that point.
So what is Entercom at the time, now Odyssey, in the beginning of COVID, restructured their alternative and country formats. And that means they basically took all their country stations, alternative stations, and broke them down to one live person at every city. And then the rest was just voice tracked and recorded from other jocks from around the country doing, Miami and Houston and Seattle and so on.
Damn, that's rough. I feel like that's a lot of the industry right now, though, and I know the television, like local news industry, they've gotten more, remote over time. And another 20 years from now, most local news in the United States will just be some guy in Ohio or Missouri.
Everything's getting piped in from somewhere else, it seems. That's like the new norm as far as radio.
Well, it's cheaper. I mean, you can have one guy host
That's true.
25 stations
yeah,
and still pay him $8 an hour.
Just because you do good in the New York market, you might not do as well in South Florida or Texas or California, but it's kind of forced, in my opinion.
And I look at situations like mine down in Miami at the Shark, where the company spent $11 million on a new facility to only get down to maybe a quarter of the staff that they had between six and a half stations, where they paid for they built from the ground up. It was supposed to be $7 million of an investment. They ended up spending 11, a whole backline stage, all set up for a broadcast, which we actually did get to use at one time for our station. We had AWOL Nation perform, and they promoted it throughout the company, which did well, but I don't know how much more profitable that company alone can be right now with all these investments, because we weren't the only one that got a makeover when the merger happened years ago.
So there's a lot of stations that I do listen to. A lot of them are independent stations, KEXP. Obviously, we all know NPR. I think there's a couple of stations in Texas that I listen to where they're real heavy on the live performance aspect of shows, and a lot of their shows kind of revolve around that almost entirely. Those shows I still find to be highly engaging, but those are almost multi-format shows where it's not just radio, it's also that their YouTubes are really big and things like that. One of the things that I've always said that most radio companies really fell down on is YouTube and online presence. A lot of them just never picked it up. I feel like most iHeart stations have never picked it up.
It's funny you say that. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's funny you say that because right before COVID hit, the company decided to start hiring or not at the time, but their vision was to start hiring influencers, YouTubers, Instagram people, all these people, because they thought they were trying to get themselves ahead of the curve by bringing in these people who had massive followings already, who you're now finding out who have almost no talent, of these streamers who are one-trick ponies, who are good at something, but when it comes to maybe booking a show or going on a tour, they don't bring the numbers in as if a live band or a live station may be able to do that for the band or the artist themselves. But they thought about that, and they did it, and now they're learning the hard way that it's not as easy as they thought it was going to be by bringing someone in who has 100,000 followers and just automatically thinking that's going to transition for themselves as a profit.
Well, it's also, I went to a thing at NAB a few years ago where they had like one of the chief, I forget her exact title, but one of like the chiefs from TikTok. And, this is at NAB. So you have industry, the top industry people in the world from every industry, whether it's sports, entertainment, film. And we're all sitting here kind of listening to this, and they're talking about their Lego push and things like that. And, one of the first things they said is like, well, how do you make viral content? Well, the key to making viral content is that there is no key to making viral content.
Correct.
The key to making viral content is how, if something viral happens that's applicable to what you are doing, how you react to viral content. So if your brand is, radio, something goes viral with radio stations should react to that certain way to build off of that momentum.
Correct, and that's what
you can't force it.
Local radio, and that's why I think successful local radio was able to do what it did so long, is because they were having quote-unquote viral moments before they were viral moments, because people in the local community could relate to being at that mall, at that park, at that show, and something crazy happened, and then you've got the entire community talking about it at one time, so they feel like they're involved. Now you fast forward to 2025, and now there's a video camera everywhere, there's audio recording, so it's quicker to relate to something further away, maybe because it's a band you like, or it's a place you visited. So it's easier to tie into a mass audience with that same thing. But in a nutshell, it comes down to natural, organic content with a natural, organic personality that the audience feels is just as simple as they are.
I mean, yeah, I think that's the key. If you already have an audience that with a local radio station, and you can build upon that by, like, when we start going out and filming stupid videos and people start watching them, are you going to attract new listeners, new viewers? Yes, you're going to attract new, but the purpose of doing that is still to deliver content to your base audience at the end of the day.
And never cheap yourself out, and that's what's happened to some of these people, where they try to go outside their world of comfort or what they think would go viral, and you fail all the time.
Yeah, they're trying too hard. It's forced. It's not natural, like you said.
Correct.
One of the things I didn't like when I was on a show, we started streaming it on Facebook, YouTube, what have you. And I got in radio to not be on the screen, Next thing you know, I got a camera in my face. I'm trying to produce a show. I got to worry about what I look like, what people are seeing me do, because you got that camera on you all the time. But one of the things that kind of backfired on them is trying to do all this stuff on YouTube is you get flagged a lot of times for playing music. Now, the radio station has the license to play that music, but YouTube will just automatically take that episode or, flag it, and then, it's lost, because it's not playable.
Which is funny, because yes, that's a bad thing as far as what you're trying to do, but I think it's a good thing for anybody trying to do that, because now you've got to do something that you're not used to doing, as far as relying on that crutch of the music.
Yeah.
Like, example being, like, when you create bits of where I used to go out and do random jobs. It had nothing to do with the music, but it was still me representing the station, and it was an extension of what we would normally do entertainment-wise on the station, and now you can visually see it, and it's something we don't do, where it's got nothing to do with music, and it's all entertainment, and it's organic.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you're working for a big, credible company, they should have some licensing and things of that nature. They should have people, attorneys, things like that, people that deal with ASCAP, BMI, people that know how to deal with that the right way, people that know how to get the licensing to create that organic content. I get why these algorithms exist, because otherwise people would just sit around stealing content and then making money off of it. As much as most people hate to say it, Lars Ulrich from Metallica was 1,000% right. Dr. Dre was 1,000% right. Downloading music destroyed the music industry. But at the same time, viral content, viral marketing, you have to be able to pivot.
You could start the argument with who did it really hurt, though.
I mean, it hurts the bottom end artists, but that's what Lars always said. He said, "Look, we're going to be fine. We're not." He wasn't out for it for them. He was out for it for the artists now that don't make any money. So,
well, as far as their music being sold, I mean, you can make the argument now that like, hey, even Metallica, they make more money on their shows than they do any of the music.
Well, all of it's touring industry now. None
correct.
of them make money off records anymore.
Correct.
Nobody.
Unless
so.
someone's probably listening to me like, you idiot, Metallica signed that deal. I know. They weren't on iTunes for a long time for a reason, because they wanted a deal where when they got on iTunes, they were going to make money off of that. I get it. They played their cards right. But what I'm trying to say is that bands have always signed and will sign and have always signed really bad contracts with these record companies. So it wasn't like Napster and all these other, downloadable services back in the day really hurt artists, because at the end of the day, they were going to make, it was only a select few, like your Dre's, like your Birdman from Cash Money Records.
Yeah.
These guys who were smart and stayed with all licensing rights.
They held the licensing. Yeah.
But your artists who outnumber them are the ones who have to go play the shows to make the money.
Yeah.
So as long as you can stay relevant, like a lot of these punk rock bands that I listen to have stayed relevant over the years to continuously play shows and be relevant in the tour scene, they've always made money.
Well, I'm sure we could go on all day about our wonderful experiences in the live radio broadcasting industry.
Yes,
but there were positives too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, I mean,
we used to have a lot of fun.
like Nutter and I have a great one. We mutually share being able to work for one we absolutely loved. I mean, I've got lifelong friends to this day from working in radio. It's a very it was a very humbling experience all the times that, you start from nothing like I did as an intern, and I grinded it out, went backwards and went forwards. And I finished my career as of right now on the morning show down in Miami. And I never thought I would get there. That wasn't the goal.
Right.
Because when I got that gig, I was trying to do nights. And it just so happened where the dominoes fell in place to where I got to be in a position to get a job that I never intended to get, and then ran with it.
Well, that's the one thing about radio nowadays, too. It's hard to make a name for yourself or get anywhere because the people have been there for 20 years. You literally have to wait for someone to die or just quit to get an opportunity. And that's what happened to me. The producer quit.
He died?
I was actually...
I thought you said he died.
He quit.
He might be dead by now.
No. But I was actually... It was during COVID. They furloughed me. So I was just sitting at home, and they called me. They're like, hey, Nutter, do you want to produce the show? I'm like, you're damn right I do. I've been itching to get back to work.
Yeah.
And now I have a producer gig? Yeah, say less, sign me up. It was great. And actually bonded with more of the listeners than, some of the other people that I worked with every day. But I went through the whole station, kind of was a part of everything. But, I forgot what I was saying.
I could see that.
My experience at Entercom/Odyssey was great. It was also a kind of a miracle of how everything came together as far as personalities go. Because anybody listening right now, if you've ever worked with any cluster with talent, you know that there's egos everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And I got stupid lucky. I got to work with a company that had no egos, a lot of people with a lot of years under their belt in the radio industry, and everybody was willing to help me work on whatever I was trying to work on at the time when I was part-time on the weekends. Because I wanted more, and they respected that, and they understood that, and it was really, really cool. And where Kevin and I were, that was not an opportunity with certain people, but there are really good people out in the industry of radio. They're still lucky enough to still be on air.
Yeah.
For all the things we've said that aren't that great today. But yeah, there's some really cool people that still have jobs in this industry that deserve to be where they are, if not higher, just because the way things work out in the world.
I mean, I would say there's a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but a handful of, independent stations and, really strong markets that actually do amazing, amazing work in radio. And
people get it. Certain people get it, and you can afford to get it. And if you want to play your cards right in this industry of radio, you can still make a profit and make everybody happy.
And if you're listening right now and you're like, I really want to start a radio station, we're your three guys right here. So we have ideas out the wazoo. I have every connection for every type of engineer we could ever need. So hit us up. info@radioisdead.com.
Oh, I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Pay us before the ideas, though. We're not ain't nothing free around here.
So moving on. A lot of cool stuff that you've been getting into this year. So you've been to Epic Universe. What? How many times have you been there already?
I've been to Epic 3 times.
Well,
Three
I'm
times.
jealous.
Wow.
I did the preview 3 times as an annual pass holder. Absolutely amazing. The only thing that was shut down the 3 times I went was Harry Potter. I almost made it. I think I was
interesting.
probably 15 minutes away from the front of the line when I finally decided to get in the Harry Potter ride, but that didn't happen. I rode everything else.
But you have to walk through the whole Ministry of Magic to get to the ride or whatever.
The queue for Harry Potter alone
is worth watching.
is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The detail and everything that goes along with going inside and experiencing the Harry Potter and Epic universe.
Now, you're a huge Star Wars fan. Now, comparison Disney Star Wars versus Harry Potter at Universal. I have to say, I think Harry Potter destroys all the Disney stuff.
Well, not even. We can talk the whole Epic park and just break it down. In you want to compare Disney to Universal is
Just that one part.
Okay, absolutely, 100%. You're correct.
Yeah.
Universal nails France. They nail it so well that the last time I was there, I was in line getting a drink, and I happened to be talking to this couple that was next to me. They were in France like 3 weeks before that day. And the guy's showing me pictures of the streets of France compared to the decor of this Harry Potter layout.
Oh, really?
And it's spot on.
Wow.
It's to scale, they say.
It's the scale and the accuracy of the detail of how the roads and the walls look is absolutely ridiculous.
Now, I was reading that the smallest building in that section of the park is taller than any other building that Universal's ever built in any other theme park.
It's probably accurate. I want to, I've been an annual pass holder for all the parks for a long time. It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Because the old Universal, like the original Universal Studios, that's supposed to look like a backlot, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to look like a backlot of
Right.
a film set. Especially the New York area does a good job with that. The old Jaws area, which is, I think some of that's still there. That does a pretty good job of that.
A little bit of it. But no, if you haven't gone to Epic Universe, it's 1,000. You've never done a theme park like you've done Epic Universe.
What was your favorite part about Epic Universe?
The interactive factor of Mario.
Yeah, that's the reason I want to go. I'm a huge game nerd, so once I heard that they're making Mario World, it's like, oh my god, I got to get out over there and check it out.
They're going to be expanding on that. They're going to be expanding on monsters. They're going to be expanding on Harry Potter.
Is there a Shrek one too?
So that's at Universal.
Oh, okay.
So they got rid of the old school Woody Woodpecker, Barney show.
Okay.
They gutted that out. They put in Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, Trolls for the kids, which is really cool because then you can go over there and get a Shrek pretzel with green cheese.
Oh, wow.
Which is amazing, by the way. Yes. Fun fact,
because I spin on green eggs and ham.
Because I have inside information. Before COVID and before Epic Universe, they were going to try to put the whole Nintendo Donkey Kong thing in Universal.
Really?
That was part of the plan.
Part of the park that they shut down. Then what's that one that they shut down? The Poseidon's Fury.
No, that's in Islands of Adventure.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They were going to stick it behind Men in Black somehow. That was their rough idea before it all went down. Because my buddy was an engineer for Nintendo through that build, and then towards the last, I think he just finished working for them. He was working on the park in the middle of Epic.
That's pretty cool.
So
now, one thing, back in the day when I was in high school, I lived in Orlando, so we used to go the whole time. The best Halloween Horror Nights I've ever seen was the year they did the cornfield between Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios.
That was 2004 or 5?
I want to say 5.
Okay.
But it might have been 4.
I went that year. That was fun.
Yeah, we went like 3 or 4 times. And that was the first time they ever had both parks involved. Now, I'm sure Epic won't touch that for a long, long time.
No, and they don't need to. And Epic is just like I said, you can't understand the vibe from Epic unless you go there, because of how immersed it really, really is everywhere. When I say every detail was not missed, they didn't miss anything. It is amazing. The only thing, and this is the only kick in the ass I have towards Epic Universe, is for some reason a park that holds 35,000 people only has 2 sit-down full menu restaurants.
Wow.
Everything else is quick service.
That's interesting. Wonder what the thinking is behind that.
Just because the longer you sit, the less likely you are to spend money. So the quicker I've got you on your feet to keep moving, the more likely you are to spend money.
The longer I sit, the more likely I am to sit there and continue spending money.
Spend money on booze and stuff.
Yeah.
But no,
what are the themes of those?
What?
At those 2 sit-downs?
One is one is sushi. One is like Asian themed, and
that's
then
interesting.
and I'm not totally sure what Atlantis is. Atlantic. It's in the front of the park.
So it's in like the unbranded aspect of the park, more or less.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, because they used to. Islands of Adventure had a really good sit-down restaurant at one point in time. I know, but I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But I remember it was actually really good.
That's great information.
Yeah, you probably know what it is.
I don't. You're not telling me where it is. You're not telling me.
It was by the Poseidon's Fury. I remember that. It was like right over there, like between that and Jurassic Park.
You're talking about the one across from
on the lake.
Yes, that one's still there.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Yes.
they had good food.
That one I've never been there, but that one has great reviews. Yes.
Yeah, they were pretty solid. So out of all the sections, you're saying Super Mario's the best?
No, I didn't say that. I just
Oh,
said the one that I thought was super super cool. Because from beginning to end, or from the front to the back of that area of that universe, there's something to do. The wristband, the interactive wristband, you'll buy for, if you're an annual pass holder, it's $40. If you're not, it'll be closer to 50. It's like 47 and change.
That's not too bad.
You link it up to the app on your phone, the Universal app, and you go around, you smash coins, and
That'd be fun.
you can, in real time, you can watch your score on your phone from the app, and then you collect 3 keys, and then once you have your 3 keys, you're allowed to go into play against Koopa in a interactive screen area
Interesting.
to win more stuff. And then once you've done that, you go back again and collect more coins, get the rings again, or get more keys, get more coins, and then you can play Koopa again.
I had no idea that was even a thing. That's super cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And you can only go into that Koopa area to play him after you have your 3 keys. You can't walk around in there. But there's I'm sure everybody's seen pictures of the bricks and the squares of hitting stuff. What you haven't seen pictures of is there's areas where you go in and the screen's interactive. So let's say you'll smash a box, and then the screen will light up and you have to kill the Koopas, or you have to collect the feathers, or whatever it may be, to get more points and stuff like that.
Wow, it sounds way cooler than I thought it would be.
What is cool too is they have the old school original Nintendo digital pictures of the players, pictures of the characters, like Princess Toad, Mario. And as we all know, Toad looked like he was given the finger in the old digital, which he does. So if you walk out of Toad's restaurant, on the left-hand side, there's a circle with the Mario logo that you tap the wristband on, and then on the wall itself will light up a Toad giving you the finger.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
I want to see Nutter with a picture of that when he goes in a few weeks. I'm sure Nutter's going to be telling his wife when he gets home, like, oh, what's buy tickets to Epic?
Yeah, I'm not really super huge on the theme parks. I don't like large crowds, but I'm going to, I've done them all, and being in radio, you get to go up there all the time. But, yeah, we're getting ready to do the Epcot at night, which seems really cool, but I'll eventually talk her into going. I probably won't have to talk her into it. She'll probably be like surprised that I even want to go to one.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so one of the things I would want to see when I go, and I'm sure I'll go sometime in the next few months, knowing me. Definitely want to see the Universal Monsters. It's all the old school stuff.
Great park. Great section of the park. It's amazing.
The centerpiece there is what, Frankenstein Castle?
Frankenstein Unchained.
Frankenstein Unchained.
Yes.
Okay.
It's really cool. I'm not going to give anything away because
Fair.
I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but they also they're smart. They keep switching up little things here and there. But I will say, if you like to drink alcohol, definitely check out the bar.
Okay.
They got smart and already have merch for the bar. So if you get to the back of Monsters Universe and you're hanging out there and you're like, man, I really want a tank top, or man, I really want a T-shirt, they've already got it in the gift shop.
Oh, that's cool.
You can go buy those. You will be disappointed with the werewolf roller coaster ride, but it's worth riding if the line is short.
Okay.
Do not wait any more than 45 minutes for that ride.
Interesting.
But Monsters Unchained, worth the wait, worth every second of it. At one point in time during one of my visits, we rode it 4 times straight. So we would get on, went around, got back to the beginning, and just did the loop to cross back over into the on section, and got 4 times in a row.
Wow.
Nice.
Super, super cool.
I've heard that they're going to expand that part of the park, which you also mentioned.
Correct.
I'm hoping they add in this Nosferatu from last year, because Nosferatu's baseline Dracula is definitely owned by Universal, no question about it. The movie was phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That was pretty good.
Really well done.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say probably not. So? Probably not, because there's too much money to be made in the classics, and people have really wanted the classics for a while. But I'm just saying, as far as other ones that are more profitable.
Yeah, Dracula.
Mummy.
Creature,
would be a big one.
And you don't even need
Invisible Man.
You don't need me to tell you that they're going to expand. If you look at any of these helicopter views over the park, you can see the extra lot that's connected to all these parts of the park.
The property they built it on is massive.
But it was funny because I said something to my buddy who worked on Nintendo the entire time. Because when you get on Donkey Kong's mine train, which
the, like circular arm, bar,
which God help anybody who rides that ride. It's super jerky and painful sometimes. But when you take off, they didn't cover. When you take off, you go out and then the train cuts to the right, or the cart cuts to the right. You can see the empty lot right there, like the empty lot that's sitting right. They didn't block it by anything. And then they also kind of gave it away too by videos that are already out on the internet now. in the store where you can see Zelda and Link part of the Nintendo world.
Really? That's cool.
That would be dope.
So it looks like the extension of Nintendo is going to be something to do with Zelda and Link.
And
Nice.
they have another game coming out in another year or two, so I think that'll probably be
Because
coincide with
everybody in the store that's on those glass panels is someone who's significant already in the park.
it. So How to Train Your Dragon, was that any good?
I don't know anything about that movie, but
they're great. I actually just saw it.
I hear amazing things. I want to know more. If you don't know anything about this movie like I do, and you walk in and you experience it for itself, you're like, I need to know something about this.
Yeah.
It's super, super cool. Roller coasters, water rides, the meet and greet's really cool. They haven't executed it yet, to my knowledge, but there will be flying drone dragons
Oh, that's cool.
in the park.
That's
Yep.
interesting.
So it's going to be really cool. Definitely worth it. Kids love it. The full menu inside the cafeteria in there is really cool. They've got this bread thing where it's a fresh loaf of bread and they hollow it out and they stick macaroni and cheese inside of it with with bacon or chicken and other stuff. It's super, super cool. That's after Monsters. Monsters is my favorite. How to Train Your Dragon, Mario, and then Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
But I'd rather be in Mario over all the other parts, if that makes any sense.
Just because of the atmosphere.
Correct.
Now, we went to the Magic Kingdom. That was the first time I'd been to the Magic Kingdom basically since I was a child.
Yeah.
And the rides are basically exactly the same as they were when I was a child. And I was like, I don't see how any of these kids...
did I just make such a good point? You transitioned the conversation from one park to the other?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay, I see what you did
so
there.
nice. Popping around. It's a park hopper pack.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'd love for them to put in a Star Wars attraction other than the bar that doesn't suck. That's what I'd really love to see them do.
I mean, the rides are cool. The Smuggler's Run is really bad as far as if you were...
That's the Kylo Ren ride? Or
No,
that's
Rise of the Resistance. That's
Oh, okay.
that's the self-driving vehicle ride.
Yeah, that sucked.
The Smuggler's Run is where you fly the Millennium Falcon.
That one's... Oh, yeah. It's kind of lame, but... I don't know. And then what's the third one?
There are no third ones.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of the beginning of the.
So,
first one.
I say that to be a smart ass to say, well, it's not inside that area. It's Star Tours,
Oh, Star Tours. Oh, yeah.
Star-
Star Tours I actually liked. That was probably the best one.
which I don't understand how Disney screwed that up. You hopped over the whole theater and the pizzeria to put Star Wars over here when you should have just
By
demolished.
Muppets.
Yeah, which is now the old Muppets theater. Which you should have just demolished it and made that whole area Star Wars together.
Yeah, that would have made
But
more
they were
sense.
all at the time they were doing that. They were also banking on that hotel that didn't work out either.
That's
So-
also very hodgepodge, too. Yeah, the hotel was a disaster.
So-
Have you ever stayed there?
Do I look like someone who's got $3K for 2.5 days?
It's $3K for 2.5 days.
Was.
Oh,
Was.
Now it's cheaper?
No, yeah.
Or now it's out of business?
Now it's free. Now it's free because you can't stay there anymore.
Yeah.
You can squat there if you'd like.
But no, Star Tours, Rise of the Resistance, and Smuggler's Run. I mean, not so. Smuggler's Run is ass, especially if you've got like a little kid who's in charge of flying it, two of them, because it's two people
Yeah,
to
that's what
fly.
happened to us. It sucked.
Yeah.
We lost.
But also, fun fact: there is an Easter egg of a mini Millennium Falcon on the big Millennium Falcon inside Hollywood Studios.
Oh, I don't know if I noticed that.
So if you walk up where the cockpit is, there's a row of this is going to sound so horrible over audio. There's a row of what looks like maybe bullets or lines that come around the capsule of the cockpit, and if you look underneath there's a mini Millennium Falcon, maybe the size of a large hand.
So there's just a little Easter egg in
Yeah,
there.
there's
That's
a little
pretty
one-
cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Now, we got to the park real early to knock out the StarArs section, especially Rise of the Resistance. It was still fairly new.
yeah.
We waited, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes for Rise of the Resistance.
You lucky bastard.
If you wait any longer than that, you have officially wasted all your time.
If you're listening to this podcast, he's absolutely wrong. Do not listen to a word he says further on. Go
that
ahead.
ride's very boring.
How? That ride is absolutely amazing. I don't understand how you don't.
I'm
what makes that ride?
anti-modern Star Wars universe. So.
That does not. That has zero to do with the ride.
Yeah, it's not really a ride. I mean, you're like walking around. The stormtroopers were cool, all
Walk?
that stuff. Like you walk, you walk into the stormtrooper room, then you walk into what's like a cargo mover that you're on essentially.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of boring though. It's not really like a.
That's
I
not- but
want
that's
a
not
Star
the-
Wars throw ride.
that's
Like
not-
Nutter was saying, we should do like episode 1 with Jar Jar on the racers. Like that would be fun.
Nutter,
they could add
on
a
your
different ride.
scale of Star Wars love, what's it between 1 and 10? As a whole, don't give me this. Don't give me a Kevin
a
answer.
soft 6.
Don't give me a.
I'll give it about an 8.
Okay, you would like this ride.
Okay.
You would like this
Yeah, I
ride.
haven't been yet, so
It is-
that's another thing I got to check off my bucket list.
You are an infinitely bigger Star Wars fan than all of
But,
us, too, so.
but I hate the theme of the ride, but I love the ride itself.
I can see that.
The ride itself.
Maybe that's a better way to put it.
It's like you're in the movie.
Okay.
It's like you're in the movie.
It's wonderful. Well, maybe it was maybe it had a rough run. They can have that on rides too that are that interactive too. They can have bad runs. Essentially, it's like you're in the middle of a show.
Or someone who doesn't appreciate good work could ride the ride.
Look, I'm a thrill ride person, so. But either way, the milk sucks. The green milk, the blue milk.
Oh, I think the blue milk is amazing.
Oh, I disagree.
I
agree with Babish on that one.
Blue milk is good, and then they put nerds in it now, and it's absolutely amazing.
Is it
that's
actual milk though?
It's not. It's milk.
No.
It's got a milk kind of base feel to it, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not real milk.
It has like a milk consistency, but it's not.
Does it leave that weird film in your mouth like milk?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'll try it.
It's good. It's worth it. They drink it in Andor. Is the last one. Either Andor or Skeleton Crew. They drink it in one of them.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Now, when we started planning this last year, I
wanna
texted
say-
Spanish, and I was like, "Hey, what are like the must dos?" And the first thing he said is like, "Go to the fucking Cantina bar." He's
Yes.
like, "Go on your app right now and make a reservation for the Cantina bar." And I did, and I'm really glad I did because that is the by far best experience in all of Star Wars.
It's cool, and I was there on day one when that whole Star Wars area opened,
Wait.
and we got there at 10:04 in the morning. We got there at 10:04 in the morning, but anyway, we ended up going to the bar at
3:50 in the morning.
Yeah, so we got there at 3:50 in the morning,
Jeez.
and if anybody listening knows the park, we were there so late that by the time we got in line to go get escorted to that part of the park that was officially going to open, we were at that roundabout kiosk in the front of the park. That's how far back we were. Because people were lined up at the front of the theater.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many people already there inside the park before 3:50
Damn.
that we came in and we were basically just past the in gate. But my point being is that that we were in the bar and I was drunk as fuck that first day by 7:30 in the morning, and they just revamped a couple of drinks. They revamped their food menu. I told Kevin, like I said, this is where you need to go. It's very interactive. It's super cool, themey as hell. Easter eggs galore, and they've got what's Pee Wee Herman? What's his real name?
Paul Rubens.
Paul Rubin is the voice of the robot inside the cantina.
Is he? That I did not
That
know.
is cool.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
There you go.
And the robot's the best part. That's like the best part of the whole show.
Yep.
And they did play the OG, kind of like it's like a remix of the
Yeah.
Cantina Band song.
And it was super popular, obviously, on day one. So there was a drink minimum, drink maximum, and you could you come drink and then leave. Every now and then, when it does get busy, like, all right, you're on a 45-minute wait or on a 2-hour wait. But for the most part, now if you go to the park, you can just hang and drink as long as you want.
Yeah,
for the
we
most
went
part.
in July last year. By the time we actually got into the bar, it was 120 degrees out. We definitely, without any doubt, had the best bartender that they have. And she was cool with us. We sat there for an hour and a half in the lovely air conditioning, drinking ice cold beverages, and then we left with a pretty good buzz, and then went to the Slinky Dog thing and the Toy Story ride. And that was the other thing you said, like, do the Toy Story ride. Also, and we had like the pass or whatever for like the time. It was like, come at 2:30, and then we just happened to be walking by it. It's like 10-minute wait right now. I was like, oh, let's just go right now.
Did you keep your coaster from the bar?
I think we did, yeah.
Because every drink you order, you get a new coaster, and there's a coaster set.
Oh, really?
That you can unofficially collect.
Ah,
That's cool.
unofficially steal to collect.
No, you can keep it.
Officially steal to unofficially correct.
The only thing I stole from opening day was the menu.
Oh, fair enough. That'll be worth something on eBay in like 20 years.
But I gave it away. I didn't keep it.
Oh.
Yeah. It was dope though, because the menu
Big.
they went all out for this menu on opening day. It was super thick paper, had some like texture to it. It was really cool. We took 2 of them, and I was like, I'm not going to do anything with this.
Right.
I gave it away, but opening day was really cool. I don't think I'll ever do that again.
No, I don't think I would want to do that at all. You've got bigger balls than me. I
Yeah,
would.
it sounds-
Nutter would not be
No,
able to cope.
no.
The only bummer about opening day for that was Rise of Resistance was still developing. They were still working on it. So they walked us in at 5. Park was supposed to open at 6. They let us in an hour early. So they walked us in. You walked in the park, went to the left, went around in front of Star Tours, went in. They walked you up towards Toy Story, walked you back down against the wall, past the bathrooms, past Kylo Ren, and all the way up to Smuggler's Run. And you had no idea at this point what you were in line for. And the whole reason why you're like, well, why was he drunk at 7:30 is because where we were in line When we finally got in and the line had stopped, I asked a staff member, "Where are we time-wise from the front of the line?" And she goes, 4 hours.
4 hours.
And I looked at my friend. I looked at my friend and I go, "We are not doing that." So we went to the cantina and had no problem getting in there. But we were closer to the front by that point too.
Yeah.
And I use the term front loosely because we weren't anywhere near the front, but we were 4 hours where we were, and that was not about to happen.
I'd love to see them expand that area a lot more and do a little bit more with the classic characters. And I'd love to see something with Rogue One. I feel like there's a thrill ride opportunity in there somewhere.
Unfortunately, they can't do anything with old characters in that world because that planet that it is has everything to do with the new story and the new launching of the franchise.
Oh, they can come up with something.
You can't, unless they're bringing back a graveyard and you're like, oh, you can go visit Chewbacca's headstone or whoever it may be.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which he's not dead, thank God.
No, he's not. But it'd be cool to see them do something else with that, or see them as just expand it in general.
And then there's a whole conversation for that park.
Well, we'll save that for another time.
Park has no identity. That's all I'll say. That park has no identity.
That's a fair way to put it. Because I always forget the name because I know it's Hollywood. What the hell's it called now?
Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I always call it MGM.
Yeah,
because that's what it was when I was a kid. So, and this was the first time I went there since I was a kid. So it was a really weird experience.
And you missed it. When they first. Not when they first. I should say that they used to do a Star Wars show, which Nutter would appreciate. They did a Star Wars show. They had a stage that was two pieces. They would put together, and they would have characters they would do a whole montage of the entire 9 episodes.
Oh, wow. That would actually be cool.
Yeah.
See, I'd enjoy that.
And they brought out a guy dressed up in C-3PO. They had R2-D2, Boba Fett. They had everybody that would come out to do these little montage parts of the 9 episodes. And some of the characters you got meet and greets with, and sometimes you could only see like Boba Fett there because he was on stage, or C-3PO or R2-D2 because the show was going on, but you got to physically see them.
Right.
And then when they were really promoting some of the newer movies, the last 3, they had Captain Phasma do a quick little march from the back of the park to the front of the park with, like, I'd say about half a dozen of stormtroopers.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But they've gotten rid of all that. I became an annual pass holder in 2015. They stopped doing Star Wars Day parade stuff in the park the year before, where like Mickey would be dressed. I have because Disney likes to ruin things. Because Disney likes to ruin things, and this is part of the things that we lose because...
Well, they're an evil empire, that's for sure.
Good boy.
Mickey used to be dressed up like Luke Skywalker. Minnie was Leia. Like
Yeah.
they used to go all
cool.
out. It was super cool. Now it's a third-party club meetup at night with your lightsaber is what Star Wars Day has become at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, see, I think they could do a better job. Now, I remember when I went...
They're not even involved in the lightsaber meetup.
No, they're
not. That's a whole
That's what
Facebook group that comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to have some fun," because the people who are in charge of it don't want to do anything fun for us.
I actually want to get one of those lightsabers. Do you have one?
I do not have one, but if I did ever get one, I want to go and build it there and have that experience.
Right. Do you know how much they run about?
A couple $100. Like you're looking at spending some money, but you're not going to. It's the experience, and then it's something you'll never be able to do.
Keepsake, and you'll have it forever.
Correct.
Yeah. And I like stuff like that, so I'd put that right on my wall in my man cave. My wife would hate it, but I'd sit there and look at it and just smile.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
Again, from beginning to end, it's an experience, and then not only is it an experience, but you bring something home from said experience.
Right.
I would probably do it. I would definitely be down to do it.
Yeah.
It would be fun. We looked at it, but there's a lot of kids. There was a lot of people. It was like a little bit of a wait to get into it.
The easiest way to do that is just set up an appointment. If you know you're going, get a hold of them ahead of time. Set up an appointment. Say, I want to come in and do it at this time, and they'll take you in and do it. The few people I know who have done it absolutely love the experience.
Yeah, and you got to buy like the little crystal. And I hear if you get one of the black ones, there's a chance it might be a red one, and then it's a whole to do. But I'm kind of cautious about spending the money, but like you said, it would be something that you would probably cherish.
Nutter
forever.
collects everything though, so he'll definitely do it.
Well, not everything.
And what's cool is the store that sells the crystals that he's talking about. They change the decor on the wall every now and then. Mm-hmm. So, like, let's say something new happens. Like Andor has been really cool lately. Skeleton Crew has come out and done some stuff. And significant things from those shows, or even Mando, will show up in this store. They had Mando's blaster, they had Mando's helmet for a little bit inside these stores.
Dope.
So these Easter eggs pop up all over the place. They don't promote it, but if you're paying attention, you know what you're looking for, or looking at, I should say. You're like, oh shit, that's from there, or that's from this.
That was one of the latest things in the Star World universe that I really enjoyed was The Mandalorian. There's been other couple things, but it just never caught my attention enough to I'd catch one episode and I'm like, this is kind of boring. I know there's a couple others that are pretty good, but I feel like they're kind of stretching it out and just one big money grab at this point.
It's a huge money grab, and it's just really from how bad things have gone. And I haven't watched anything. I haven't watched Obi-Wan. Mando, I have watched Mando.
I tried Obi-Wan. I didn't really care for that one.
Watched Mando, watched Skeleton Crew, and I'm just about to finish season 2 of Ando, and I'm not mad at any of it.
I heard this.
And I don't understand why people were hating on the prequels. I think the prequels were amazing.
Oh, I like those.
I love the prequels.
Episode 1, 2, and 3 are badass.
Darth Maul was the badass villain.
Correct.
And General Grievous. Grievous. I thought he was pretty cool too.
His backstory is super cool. Do you know his backstory at all?
Not really.
Oh, you got.
Enlighten us.
I don't know it. I don't know enough of it to tell it and sound like I know what I'm talking about. But let's say he doesn't look like he does in the prequels as when he first was a being in the universe.
Gotcha.
Okay. He's gone through a lot, and his story is wild.
Kind of got the Darth Vader treatment, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, where do you stand on the Jar Jar Sith Lord theory?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So you agree?
So
I'm 1,000,000% on it.
100%.
Yeah.
You can't be that stupid and be not smart.
Yeah.
Now, Nutter, you don't buy into it as much.
No, I kind of do. I've actually watched a couple things on Facebook about it, and I was just like, now that you put it that way, that makes sense. So, I mean, I'm kind of a believer in it, but I kind of wish they would have done something about it.
Now, for those of you listening that I haven't forced to watch this YouTube video, or just maybe you're not aware of it, so there's a theory that Jar Jar Binks, debatably one of the most hated characters, which when that came out, I was pretty young. I didn't hate him.
Here's the funny thing. I watched the episode. I never saw them in real time when they came out, and then I'm hearing and seeing all this Jar Jar. All the Jar Jar Binks hate was real before I got into Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And I got into Star Wars, and it took me a while to eventually get to the prequels. And I watched it. I'm like, I don't understand the 2 and 2 together of why everybody hated this character.
It's not that bad.
And how little he really is in the movies.
Right.
Like,
Especially, they hated him because of the first one, then they removed him from episode 2 and episode 3, basically.
But
Lucas reduced his
Well, he had a
role.
cameo.
Yeah, he was in all of them, but even in, I think it's 3 when he's addressing the Senate, I mean, you can tell he is in control of
and
their
the
minds,
the same
so.
thing also, I don't understand the hate that Hayden, which
Hayden Christensen.
the
yeah.
hate he got, which I think the only reason why it was cool to hate him was because all the OG Star Wars people didn't want to like him, and that kind of trickled down to those people, those fans' children being told you should not like this guy, and then they finally gave him some time to step away from it. Everybody rewatched it, was like, why do we hate this guy?
Yeah.
We should not. We got no reason to.
He was a little whiny in it, I get it, like his character, but you have to build that story for Darth Vader.
But
So
he has to he has to be the bitch to
Yeah.
then be the badass.
Yeah.
You can't be one of the. So it has to be a 180 of a personality change. And I don't, for whatever reason, it wasn't understood in real time. But now, as you saw at what Japan just had, the Star Wars gathering, whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, Japan just had it.
Oh, really?
And Hayden Christensen was in tears after all the applause. It was great. It was cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people also hate when they re-edited, the original movies and they edited him into the very end.
Oh, at the
That's
ending,
like-
yeah.
But honestly, is that really that big of a deal? Like, are you losing sleep over that? Because if you are, then there's a bigger problem.
But Jar Jar Binks, back to the original. I don't
Oh, yeah.
understand. I don't understand the hate that character got.
No, not at all.
If anything, he should have gotten more screen time to better explain his species,
Yeah.
and then
Well, his species is dead.
but just
Because he killed them all because
but
he's a fucking Sith.
But that's my point. Is that you just led into my point that I was going to make, is that giving him more screen time to better play his character out and understand where he comes from, to then maybe sell that Sith Lord pitch better.
No, I definitely think it. I think had they not gotten so much backlash about it, and Lucas being, he's going to serve his fans at the end of the day. That's just the type of person he is. He wants his fans to be happy. But like you said, it's a bunch of people that were OG fans, and then now they're. I mean, at that time, they're in their mid-40s probably at that time. So
They hate change.
they hate change, exactly. And we're talking, and nothing, no offense if you're that person or that generation, but not that bad of a character. And then if you look at it as the Jar Jar as a Sith Lord mentality, it totally changes how you perceive him.
Star Wars scale of 1 to 10. What's your love?
I'm gonna go like a 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Strong 6.
I'm just curious where that's coming from because
Now, if it was just the original 3 we're judging off of, and say the other ones never came out, where would you rate yourself on that scale?
Probably around the same, because I mean, I loved episode 1, 2, and 3 when I was
Okay.
growing up. So I mean, I saw all those in theaters, and I saw all the originals in theaters when they re-released them. When did that start? In 98, 99, I think, 97, whatever. I loved all that stuff, but I think when I was younger, I was a lot more into it than I am now. I think for whatever it is, maybe it, got overplayed for me or something like that.
You just grew out of it. Some people don't grow out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I grew into Harry Potter for some reason. For whatever
I was
reason.
more of a Lord of the Rings kind of guy. But
I love
okay.
Lord of the Rings. I'd love to see them do a Lord of the Rings park that's
That
not
would
named
be
New Zealand.
awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but that's fun stuff. So we have some other new stuff. We have a new segment we're going to try today for the first time. Now, before the show, Nutter and I stopped at Trader Joe's and got the Carolina Gold barbecue flavored chip.
You've been ranting and raving about these things.
These are
and,
phenomenal. Yeah.
You finally got a bag. We're going to try them out today. But for our new segment, I'd like to call this the Big Back Snack Attack.
Now, explain that title to us.
Well, when we discover snacks or foods or something and we just want to kind of... we want to know what a Big Back is, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a heavy-set person. That's like the new terminology going around it. They don't really call you fat anymore. They'll call you Big Back.
So young people call people big back. They don't call people fat.
Well, they probably still do that, just not to their face. But
It's
Big
like,
Back...
hey, big back.
Yeah. But anyways, when we find a snack or a food that we think people will like, that we love, we're going to bring it to your attention. I actually have something lined up for our next show that the wife introduced me to.
Ooh.
No spoilers yet.
Okay.
But I'm ready to try these Carolina Gold Trader Joe's potato chips.
Yeah, so before we get into it, so Trader Joe's, for those of you that are not aware, they have a lot of like limited run products that they'll only do, certain times of the year. This is one of their summer products.
hence the word limited run.
Exactly.
think
Or
today-
seasonal products, perhaps.
I think today was the first time I ever stepped foot in a Trader Joe's, too. Usually the wife will go and she'll just bring home groceries, and I'll be like, oh, where'd you go? Trader Joe's? Oh, okay. Just never been, but go ahead.
Until about 2 years ago, I don't think I ever walked in. Oh, I did walk in one once to get like a spice that I had heard about, and it was delicious. But yeah, so this is like one of their summer products. It's a potato chip. It's like Carolina Gold barbecue flavored. Now, here's the weird thing. I'm not huge on barbecue flavored chips, and if I eat barbecue, I'm not big on Carolina Gold barbecue sauce. But for some reason, these things I just find to be delicious.
I'm not a big fan of barbecue chips per se, but I'm open to try them, and let's give it a go.
All right, so we're all going to try the Trader Joe's Carolina Gold Ridge Cut.
Ooh,
barbecue
Ridge
chip.
Cut, fancy.
Ridge Cut. Yep, delicious.
Ridged for his pleasure.
I thought it was for hers.
Different strokes, Nutter.
Where are you sticking this potato chip?
It's 2025, baby.
Maybe Spanish was the guy on the beach with Kyle last week. All right, so we're all going to mute our mics. We're going to take a quick bite, and then we're going to be right back. All right, so we've each tried the chip now. Spanish, what are your thoughts?
I think it's great. I never go to Trader Joe's. I would never have had this chip before prior. This is a summer seasonal chip for sure. This is a chip you want to eat with hot dogs, mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, burgers done the same. Absolutely
Smash
love
it up into a ham sandwich.
Perfect call.
You can bring it home, make some Carolina barbecue chip smash burgers, Nutter.
Yeah, there's an idea. I like them. I'm not a huge barbecue fan. I do like the ridged texture on my tongue. It feels really good.
For
It
his
does
pleasure.
have a little spice, a little extra kick. They're not bad, but not something I would necessarily go out of my way to get.
Now, I'm like you. I'm not huge on like the barbecue chip thing. I don't know what it is about these things. I love them. I tried them last summer. It was like the last run I guess they had of them because I went back to Trader Joe's a week later and I'm like, yo, where are the chips? And they're like, oh, dude, they're not coming back till next year. I was like, what? So I've looked forward to this for like a year, and they're delicious.
I'm not a barbecue guy, but I think these chips are done absolutely amazing. They're sour, they're sweet, they got that. I don't know, they're good.
There's
They're
a
good.
ting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say, what do we rate these on a scale of 1 to 10? Spanish? Special guest first?
7.
7. Wow.
7.
I was actually going to go 7 as well.
I'm going to go like 8.5.
Well, yeah, because
Okay.
you can't stop eating
Yeah,
them.
you ate half the bag.
Yeah, they're delicious. I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
So
Terrible.
if you do want to experience the greatness of these Carolina Gold barbecue-style flavored potato chips, they're only available at Trader Joe's, and it's for a limited time. So you might want to, you might want to go head down to Trader Joe's and grab you a bag.
Yep, they're delicious. Try it out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Shoot us a message, leave a comment, etc., etc.
So that will conclude our Big Back Snack Attack segment, new segment, and just be looking forward to more things we'll share with you along the way once we...
Nutter, you said now you've already picked out a new product. Give us a little teaser. What are we going to be trying out next week?
If I could describe it, I would. I don't want to give it away, Kevin, but just stay tuned. And, you know, the first time my wife brought them in the house, they disappeared. I didn't get one. Second time around, I can see why they disappeared so fast, and I was probably the guilty guy this time, not my kids.
So you ate the whole bag by yourself? Or
I don't know if they were in a bag or not, dude.
someone got one?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I
the
might
dog,
still have a
yeah.
few stashed.
Oh, very nice.
This is breaking. I think it's time for these nuts in the news.
All right, Kevin, it's time to bust these nuts in the news. So first, let's head on over to Lady Lake, Florida, and I like to call this one to pee or not to pee. That is the question. 70-year-old Patrick Francis Mitchell was arrested in Florida after allegedly turning a Sam's Club into his own personal urinal, Kevin.
Nutter, how do every week you find a story about someone defecating in a store?
Well, I got to find stuff that, you know, you don't normally see on the news. It's kind of a fun break from the news. You go there for your bad news. You come here for funny, lighthearted stories, and most of the time they're going to deal with urine or feces of some sort.
Or masturbation.
So authorities say Mitchell walked into the store and proceeded to relieve himself not on one, not on 10, but 345 cans of Spam and 188 cans of Vienna sausages. I didn't even know people still bought that crap. Do you like Spam?
No.
Spanish?
I've never had it, but if I go to Hawaii, it's definitely a must-have.
Some have theorized he was making a statement about processed meats, or perhaps seeing the Vienna sausages gave him a little penis envy. Who knows?
What?
Yeah, you know.
Now we know what Nutter thinks when he gets to the sausage section of Publix.
Well, Mitchell is now facing charges of disorderly conduct and criminal mischief. Mitchell did not leave right away, though, Kevin. Nope. He stuck around for another 10 minutes, casually browsing the aisles, doing his shopping like nothing happened. And then he paid for his items and walked out of the front door. Mitchell was filmed by one customer who then brought it to the employee's attention, and surveillance footage confirmed what happened. They were able to identify Mitchell through his Sam's Club ID, his membership. So he got busted. Don't go peeing on stuff if you're a member of a store. You know, they got all your info.
You know, I've always wondered what those membership cards were really for. Now we all know.
That we know what the member part stands for. The contaminated inventory had to be completely thrown out, leading to a total loss of $10,584.84.
Oh my God!
Assumingly, they're going to charge him back for that.
I
Right?
hope so. Mitchell pled not guilty on June 10th and is expected back in court later this month.
The kicker is the fool continued his shopping,
Yeah.
and paid for the groceries and left like the aisle was the urinal anyway.
Well, so there's two people on the run we know that also had similar situations because they defecated and just left the store.
Yeah.
So
That was last week's story.
yeah,
Oh my
last week
God.
2 people were just on the run after defecating. So
All right. Well, now let's take a little trip over to
Oh God, there's more.
Mobile, Alabama.
I went there for the first time this year on our way to New Orleans.
Sorry to hear that.
I like to call this one the
Interesting
rooftop.
little town.
The rooftop Rambo. 31-year-old Brett Kraft Jr. was arrested after staging what can only be described as a rooftop meltdown at a Murphy's gas station, armed with a machete and some bad decisions. According to Mobile police, Kraft not only threatened officers with his machete, but also managed to injure one of them after they snuck up on the roof to try to, get him into custody. To make matters even worse, officials said Kraft is now facing not just assault charges, but also 2 counts of assault with bodily fluids.
Ugh.
Yeah, you heard that.
They have
right?
a specific charge for that in Mobile, huh?
I guess so. Well,
How often does that happen?
Well, I don't know. I don't live there. Apparently, at some point during the standoff, Kraft relieved himself into a bottle, then dumped it onto police officers and some first responders who were staged below him.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah, that's just flat out foul.
I'm gonna bet they probably beat the little piss out of him.
Yeah, I bet they did.
I bet he got some stick time.
Yeah.
It wasn't the only time he was defecated on the officers that
my
day.
God.
Is this like a thing with Mobile with like piss and crap incidents?
Well, you can add fire to this too, because police say he caused damage to the building, which now needs repairs and probably a spiritual cleansing. Because he tried to set the place on fire as well.
Oh, that's a bizarre situation.
The injured officer was taken to the hospital with minor injuries, and Kraft was also taken in for a mental evaluation.
No shit.
All right, and finally, we're going to take this one back over and to Tampa, Florida, and I like to call this one from woo to woo. Okay, so
I think I know where we're going here.
a newsworthy scandal has body slammed the Tampa area after a now viral post accusing wrestler legend and two-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair of being a regular presence at local bars and restaurants. According to an anonymous Reddit user, the Nature Boy has been leaving behind a foul odor. The Reddit post reads, "Does Ric Flair keep coming into restaurants and shitting himself?" The user went on to claim that Flair has shit himself like 6 times this year, drunk as fuck at bars and other restaurants. Naturally, social media went full Royal Rumble over the claims. Some users laughed. Some expressed concern, which that's probably where I sit with it. And a few poor souls simply asked, "Dear God, why did I picture that?" Ric Flair has not publicly responded, which might be the smartest thing he's done since retirement. No Tampa establishments have stepped forward to confirm or deny the story, likely because nobody wants to be known as the place where Ric Flair dropped a deuce.
He is 76 years old.
So he's having a little trouble holding his BMs.
I feel like when you're 76 years old, it's time to cut back on drinking right off the bat.
Oh, not Ric Flair. That guy can't let go of the lifestyle.
What in the crack cocaine's going on in his
He'll be
world?
drinking till he's gone.
He's definitely got a checkered past, and if you need to hear more about that, I would advise checking out the Plane Ride from Hell.
Ooh.
The Plane Ride from Hell.
Yeah, you don't know about that one?
No.
Well, apparently Ric Flair is well endowed, let's just say that. Oh. And once he gets drinking, they were flying back from somewhere across seas, and they completely drank all the liquor on the plane. There was none left to give them.
It's a plane full of wrestlers.
All wrestlers.
And a bunch of female crew.
And they like to rib each other, the wrestlers do. So one of Ric Flair's things, well, Ric Flair wears the robes, right?
Yeah.
Well, he stripped down to nothing but the robe, then continued to open the robe. He cornered one of the flight attendants, and then they're calling it the helicopter. He would sit there and gyrate his hips and twirl it around like, the propeller on a helicopter.
Now, what you can't see is Nutter taking his hand and spinning it around as if it were his cock, giving Kevin a full-blown Ric Flair helicopter simulation.
If it was supposed to be his, it'd just be a finger.
I don't even think I can get the helicopter off.
It's fucking great.
For Nutter, it's that rear propeller on the helicopter, the stabilizing, right? Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was awesome.
Now, a lot of you may not know now, Nutter is a massive wrestling fan.
Yes.
So he got really excited just now telling all these stories. And then when he started talking about Ric Flair's cock, he got even more excited.
Well, I heard it's quite the Eiffel.
It's an Eiffel. Huh?
Yeah, Old Space Mountain there.
Yeah. I did run into him last year during Mr. Olympia in Las Vegas. That
was he drunk?
Yeah, he had a couple.
Okay.
He was super
like
nice,
my kind of
super
guy.
nice
Yeah.
guy, though. Super
Yeah.
nice. He didn't want to do any photos, but I think it's because he was drunk.
Fair enough.
But, yeah, he seemed like a nice guy. But a lot of these older wrestlers, man, they got a lot of issues, between the concussion crap and...
And they don't know when to hang it up, either. They're always... Like, Ric Flair always has to be in character. Like, he's... In one of the documentaries about him, one of his ex-wives says he didn't know how to turn it off, and eventually took over, and he became that character.
He became Ric Flair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Macho Man was, too. Macho Man...
Yeah.
You hear all the things about Macho Man is he was almost 99% of the time in character whenever he was awake.
Here's the thing: is he's dead. But had I ever been able to run
when
into
you
him,
meet him
I
again.
would want him to be in character.
Well, back in the day, breaking kayfabe was huge. So a lot of these wrestlers had to kind of keep that persona to sell. And if you were a bad guy and a heel, a face and a heel, they didn't want you hanging out in public together because it kind of killed the whole...
kills the vibe.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that went on longer than you thought. That went into when you and I were watching the Attitude Era. I mean, it was even then it was still taboo to be a face and a heel and be hanging out and being friends together.
Yeah, I think there was a story about Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Iron Sheik getting pulled over together with a bunch of cocaine and alcohol, and those two weren't supposed to be seen together at all, and they got arrested together. So,
well, cocaine and alcohol can bring people together, so especially in that industry. But they're turning the whole industry around right now, though. I think they're trying to get away from the drugs and all that of like the 80s and the 90s.
Sure.
They're trying to really reinvent it, but.
Well, I mean, the industry itself has done a 180. I mean, people are you're getting more days off. You're taking care of yourself. There's doctors that they have hired purposely with these wrestling companies that check out everybody. You're getting drug tested for certain things. You're allowed to participate in certain things you weren't allowed to participate in things before, as far as medical issues go. So the industry itself has learned to take care of itself from learning from the downfall of giving guys too many prescription pills or letting guys just run rampant knowing they have a full-blown drinking problem, instead of now they're being proactive in stopping this stuff.
well, also nowadays it's harder to keep it kind of like a secret because with social media and everything, these wrestlers don't really have that same private lifestyle that the older ones had. They got to promote and, they're always, talking online and, just, I don't know. It's just different. It's a different world.
Well, even getting popped now. I mean, back in the 80s, you could be a wrestler, get popped for DUI, and no one would know about it. But now, if you're
on TMZ.
But now, if you're a wrestler, which I'm not going to name names because they're all awesome and not throw anybody under the bus. But there have been wrestlers in the last 3-4 years who've been popped for marijuana or DUIs. And you know about it while they're still being processed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's again, I think another reason how wrestlers themselves have learned to police the industry in themselves at the same time is social media has made them do it.
No, I'm sure of that. I mean, any celebrities like that. And I mean, most wrestlers, a handful of them are A-list, no question about it. Most of them are B, C-list type guys. No offense, Nutter.
No, none taken.
But I mean, the whole world's going to know about any celebrity that anything happens. Woo, Tang Clan. Now, Nutter, you're a big wrestling fan. You got a lot of memorabilia, right?
Yeah, I got some championship belts.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
And do you ever do the Ric Flair gyrating of the helicopter with your championship
I tried,
belt on?
but the wife just laughed at me. Said, "Put it away." I put the belt away. She's like, "Not that." I got some Funko Pops. We got a couple luchador masks. Rey Mysterio.
Oh.
Yeah, Penta. He's a newer wrestler. You probably wouldn't ever heard of him.
I tried to watch WrestleMania this year. The first night was phenomenal. The second night
Oh yeah, the
sucked.
second night did suck. It didn't hold up at all compared to the first night.
Why even have a second night?
They're going to stretch it out, and
Just like Ric Flair does. So, how do we confirm this? Does anybody live in the Tampa area? Do we have any listeners that know about this? Do we have any sources from Tampa? I have Justin, who I met with earlier today.
Well,
maybe he can give me
reach out and see if
he can give me some info.
he knows. Yeah.
I feel like it's not his scene, but I could be wrong.
Well, you never know.
You mean he's not out purposely trying to find old men who shit themselves at the bar? Is that what you're telling me?
Precisely what I mean.
That's what it sounds
that's
like.
Exactly it.
Well, if you smell something strange and you're in a Tampa bar or restaurant, just look around. If Ric Flair's there, you
Might
know
not be
where it
that
came from.
tap water.
Ugh.
I think that just about wraps us up here on Radio is Dead.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to thank Spanish for joining us.
Thanks for
Spanish,
having me.
We hope you had a good time.
Anytime.
They're still here.
Yeah, they're still here.
That's
yeah,
cool.
They think you did a great job.
I've seen a couple people leave.
It's like being in the Muppet Theater.
They were just trying to beat the traffic. You know?
Oh, yeah. Traffic leaving here always sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
As always, follow us on social, hit up our YouTube for bonus content, and visit radioisdead.com to send us your weird thoughts, hot takes, or desperate pleas to be on the show.
And don't forget to review this podcast on your favorite platform.
5 stars.
Yes, that's right. Another 5 stars, everybody. And share this with a friend, an enemy, or your therapist.
We want to thank Spanish again for joining us. See you next week, unless the internet decides to cancel us first.
This is Radio is Dead.
And as always, don't shit where you sleep. Deuces.